everyone, and welcome to Make It with Miss Mandee. Today we are going to be creating this 3D Disneyland Castle. I shared the template for this design about a year ago, and today I'm excited to share with you in this video how to put it together. So gather up your supplies, download the free template at designsbymissmandee.com, and let's get started. The supplies you'll need for this project are cardstock, about 9 sheets in various colors, vellum, hot glue, precision craft glue or a glue stick, a cutting machine or X-Acto knife, and my 3D Disneyland Castle template. Other optional but helpful supplies include foam tape, a bone folder, a gray ink pad, some gray paint, a gold marker, decorative ribbon and gems, and some kind of scoring attachment for your cutting machine. If you need help figuring out how to set up the file that includes score lines, be sure to check out the tutorial I made on the subject. So here are all of my pieces cut out and we're ready to get going. I'm gonna set most of these aside for now and focus just on a few of these gray pieces. So not these ones, just the ones that are gonna be like the castle walls. So all of these, not this one though, this is gonna be like our base piece for most of our castle turrets and stuff. Okay, so with these ones, this is kind of an optional step, but I wanted these to look a little bit more like the brick walls that they are, and so, or stone walls, I guess. And so I painted on some stones on the castle, and I also just inked the edges a little bit to give it a little bit more dimension. So like I said, this is kind of optional, but if you would like to give your project a little bit more dimension, this is a fun way to do it. So I'm just gonna start by going around some of my edges wherever there's going to be like a corner piece and just adding a little bit of ink. So I've added a little bit of ink to the edges of my castle walls, and now I'm going to start painting in the stonework. So I've just mixed up a few different colors of gray, and I'm just going to take a brush and just carefully put a few stones in. Just like that, nothing fancy. And I'm gonna just do one color at a time and then switch to another color. I've finished adding all my little stone embellishments, and now we're gonna let these dry. Okay, before we get going on actually putting this piece together, I'm just gonna add a little bit more detail to this project by adding some gold embellishments to some of the tower elements. So you can see in my castle, I have just a few places where I've added little bits of gold to just make the whole thing pop a little bit more. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So these pieces are going to be my front turrets. And it's hard to see, but I do have some little windows in there, and I'm just going to add those in with a black marker right now. So these pieces are done for now, and we're just going to set them aside. And we're going to start by working on our left tower. So for reference, I'm talking about this tower over here. So it has this bigger base piece and then this smaller little skinny little tower up on the top. So the pieces that you'll need to make that are this piece right here, and it has a couple of little slits in the top, and that is where this tower is going to connect. and then each of the pieces that goes with it. The little blue roof pieces are a little bit tricky because they are very similar sizes. So just when you're going through, find the ones, and before you glue anything, just make sure that these ones match up with these sides, and these ones match up with these sides, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then you're gonna need this little pink piece, these little triangle pieces that are going to be the roof, and then this piece that we decorated with a little bit of gold across the top. Oh, and then this little fencing piece for the top. Once again, very similar in size to the other fencing piece. It's going to be just a little bit smaller, and just kind of measure it against the roof, and you can see that this is the one that's going to go here. Sorry, everything is such similar sizes. Usually I try not to do that in my designs, but I wanted to make this castle pretty accurate to the one at Disneyland. So here we are. Okay, so let's get started. Just realized I needed to plug in my hot glue gun. So while we're waiting for that to warm up, I'm just gonna use a little bit of craft glue. And if you don't have this on hand, a glue stick is just fine. To glue just some of these smaller pieces on the design. Starting with these tiny little triangular roof pieces. Okay, with all those roof pieces in place, I'm going to start folding this section along the score lines. And hopefully by the time I'm done, my hot glue gun will be warmed up. There we go. You don't necessarily have to use hot glue for something like this. You could just use regular glue. I just like how quickly it dries, and for structural elements like this, I just feel like it makes it a little bit more sturdy. All right, so with this piece done, now we just need to make the base of that tower by assembling this section. Now we can attach these two together. And that piece is done. So let's do this one next. Similar idea, we're just gonna fold across all the score lines and then start assembling. You're gonna be doing a lot of this. Okay, but before we start gluing all these together, I'm going to attach this tower to the top of the roof. I'm gonna widen these slits just a tad to make it a little bit easier. There's also a slit right here, which I'm gonna try to get to without poking my fingers, hopefully. There we go. And so we're gonna attach this as well. This tower is done. Next, we're gonna start working on our center tower. So these are the pieces that you're gonna need for that. Mainly this big pink piece with a couple of holes in the middle, these matching roof pieces, these window pieces, this complicated looking little piece that has a whole bunch of score lines in it. This is what's going to go into this section that is going, and it's gonna just pop out a little bit from the wall. Here, I'll kind of show you. This is that section right here. Okay, and then you'll also have these gold window panes and then these tiny little turrets that have matching little blue roof pieces that are going to attach to those as well. So to get started, I'm going to start with the windows. First, I'm going to just flip these pink pieces over and add the vellum pieces to the back side like so. Now I'm going to add the gold window panes to the front. Now we're ready to add the blue roof pieces. Okay, now it's time to work on this crazy looking piece. So, like I said, this looks really complicated, but if you just follow the score lines, fold along all the lines, it'll start to come together and hopefully make a little bit of sense. I mean, that should just be my slogan, right? Follow the score lines. So basically you're just making kind of an odd shaped little box. The part that may be a little bit confusing is that you're not going to fold it. So this part right here is going to stick up over the edge a little bit. Yeah, so if you just fold everything inward, you can just glue these tabs to the inside of your box, like these ones and these ones. You'll be good. Okay, this piece is ready to go. I'm just gonna set it aside. We're gonna work on this one next. Similar to this section down here on this one, we're just gonna fold along all the score lines and then we're just gonna start assembling. Don't assemble all the way because we do need to slip this piece in before it comes together. All right, so before I attach this last wall to the back, I'm going to slip this piece in. And then all these little tabs are actually gonna be folded outward like this. And just gonna push this in like that. And glue your tabs down. All right, and the last thing we need to do to finish this guy up are attach these little, I don't know what to call these pieces, these pieces to the front. And I'm not gonna line them up perfectly with the edge. I'm gonna make them hang off just a little bit. And I'm actually gonna attach these with a little bit of foam tape to make them stand out a bit more. It's time to make the right tower, and you probably have the drill down by now. You can probably figure this one out all by yourself. So this is gonna go right here on this side of the castle, and it is our last rectangular tower. Yay! So find the matching roof pieces, which you should only have 4 of these left. You're gonna get these 2 gold pieces. If you have paper that's double-sided, you don't need to use both of them. This gold that I'm using only is one-sided, so I'm just gonna end up gluing these together so it can be gold on the front and back. And then grab your other little fencing piece, and that is going to slip into the top just like we did with roof number 1 on the left. Whoops. Okay, well, let's start attaching these roof pieces, shall we? Okay, next is my tagline. Let's fold along the score lines. All right, and before we put this all together, I'm just going to widen these slits a little bit so I can attach these 2 pieces and then put the whole thing together. So we finished off the rectangular towers and now it's time to make the rounded ones. We're gonna start with our 2 tallest ones, and these are the ones that are gonna go in the back. It's not much space. Let me see if I can show you. So you can see these 2 back here. These are the ones we're gonna be making next. Okay, so these are the pieces that you're going to need. You're gonna need these 2 pizza slice type pieces and their corresponding circles. You're gonna need these pieces right here. This one's upside down. This one. And then these pink rectangles and these larger pink circles. There are some pink circles that are a little bit smaller. These 4. So these 4 matching ones, we're not using these ones yet. I'm setting those aside. And as far as the blue ones go, once again, there's 4 matching ones. If they match, we're not using those ones yet, setting those ones aside. We just want the smallest one and then this one, which I think is a little bit smaller than the other blue ones. Okay, sorry, that was probably really confusing, but hopefully you found all of your pieces and now we're gonna get started. We're gonna start from top to bottom on these towers and we're gonna begin with these little roof pieces. So these are going to be, we're gonna make these into little cones, kind of like little party hats, I guess. And it's not too hard to do this actually. You're just going to, you see where this tab is? We're gonna add a little bit of glue there, curl this around, glue that together, and then fold all of these little tabs inward. And then once you have this little party hat shape, you're just going to add some glue to the bottom where your tabs are and attach your circular base. There we go, first roof is done. Now we're gonna do the next one. This one's gonna be slightly more pointed, so I'm going to just kind of bend my paper a little bit to prep it. But the idea is the same. We're just going to wrap this around and glue the tab inside. You know what? Tab's actually a little too long right here. I'm just gonna trim it. All right, party hat number 2 is complete. Okay, next we're going to focus on the top part of this tower, and actually on both of these I'm gonna add a couple of windows. I think I did this after assembly last time, but I'm going to save myself the headache and add a couple of windows before we start putting it all together this time. Okay, now that that little side quest is complete, we are going to start curling this top tower piece. I might use the edge of my table too. Okay, and then we're just going to take this tab and glue it to the inside of the other edge. And attach my roof piece. And just something that's nice to do is if you can keep both the seams in the back, it'll just make it just look a little bit nicer. All right, and the next thing I'm gonna do for this top tower piece is attach this gold section right here. You can use hot glue to do this, or what I'm going to do is just attach it with a little bit of foam tape all the way around to just make it pop out just a little bit. Now this piece is done and we're gonna work on the bottom of this tower. So once again, I'm going to take this piece and curl it a little bit. And then glue this tab to the inside. Okay, this piece is done. And next I'm going to take this piece that has the slits in it. So these two circles are the same size, but this one has slits in it and this one doesn't. The one that has slits in it, I'm going to take this gold section and I'm going to wrap it all the way around. First, let me fold in these tabs. I'm just going to go around attaching each of these tabs to the underside of this circle. All right, we've got ourselves a little crown. The next thing we're gonna do, like always, I'm gonna widen these slits just a little bit to make it easier, is I'm going to take this top tower piece and slip it into those slits and glue down the tabs. Now that that's attached, I'm just going to take this circle that we have left over, just adhere it to the bottom of this section, and then attach this like so. There we go. Our bigger back tower is complete. And this one you're going to do pretty similarly. You're just going to curl this, wrap it up, and this one, since it's so small, it might be helpful to try to wrap it like around our pen or something first, just to help curl it without like creasing the sides too much. There we go. Yeah, so it's like that. And then you're just gonna attach this once again, just underneath about right here where the windows are, and the roof just goes on top. Next, we're gonna assemble the very front little towers. So these little guys up here, and then these round sections. Okay, so these are all the pieces that you're going to need, and we're gonna do really similar things that we've done with our other rounded towers, just on a slightly different scale. So let's start with the outside ones, and then I'll set the pieces for the middle ones up here for now. So for the outside towers, all you're gonna do is, we're gonna start with this section. I'm gonna curl it. I'm gonna glue this tab to the inside. As you can see, I accidentally started drawing gold on the wrong side on this one. That's okay, just flipped it over and no one's the wiser. Well, I guess you are now, but oh well. Okay, fold all these top tabs inward and then attach our pink circle. Now we got to make our little party hat style roof. Now we can attach our roof to the top. Next, we're just going to take this piece and fold all of these edges inward. Widen these slits a tiny bit. And then we're just going to line these up. Stick this guy in like so. Okay, this guy is done. Now you're just going to repeat the same process with the other outside tower. With these two little side towers done, we're ready to move on to the innermost towers. Okay, so the top portion for these is going to be assembled really similarly. You're just going to, like you did before, curl this part, attach it to the pink part, assemble the roof the same way, and attach those like so. The part where it's a little bit different is instead of attaching it to a square base like this, you're going to attach it to a round base. And before you attach it, you're going to take these pieces right here and attach them around the edge like so, kind of like we did with this section right here. So I'm going to start, I'll show you how I'm going to attach this. With this piece assembled, I'm going to take this one now, and these are going to be the rounded towers next to the front gate. So now that I have these two pieces ready to go, I'm just going to assemble this section. So this tower is assembled, and next I'm just going to slip it in to the slits in this base piece. Now let's cover up all these tabs with this gray circle. And attach the whole thing to its column. Now repeat the same process with the other tower. With all of our towers built, we are nearing the home stretch on this project. Yay! So the next thing you need is this piece. So this piece is like your roadmap for how we're going to piece this whole thing together. So it has all these little slits in it, and I've already taken my X-Acto knife and just kind of widened these a little bit so you can see them a little bit better. And this is going to tell you where each one of these towers is going to go. Don't worry too much about these towers yet, those will come on later. Just worry about the pink and blue and gold ones. Okay, so I'm going to start from the back probably as I start piecing these on. And this tall tower is going to go right here with the bigger circle. This smaller tower is going to attach right here with this little smaller circle. This is going to go here in the front middle rectangle. This is going to go in this left rectangular area, and this one is going to go in the right rectangular area. So slide each of those in and attach the tabs to the back side with some hot glue. Right before I do that though, I am just going to fold these tabs inward. Okay, now let's rock and roll. Now before I attach this front piece, I'm actually going to attach this little guy. This just has a couple of tabs and is a little archway piece that connects in between this tower and this piece right here, like that. All right, all of our towers are attached to this base piece, but before we attach any of the front or side walls, I'm actually gonna add just a few embellishments. This is another optional step, but it's just something I did on the last castle I made, and I really liked how they turned out. Just some like little gold accents just here and there, wherever your heart desires. I just thought that I could use a little bit more gold, and I'm gonna do the same for this castle. All right, I've attached all my embellishment pieces on, and we're ready to start building up all of our walls. So the easiest way I found to do this is I'm going to start with the side walls and then like these two like tower things right here. And these are comprised of these two pieces. So the way that these work is that these pieces are gonna fold around and kind of create a square. This piece is going to come out this way and is going to be in the front like that. And then this wall, the longer square side over here, is going to come around and act as the side wall for our castle. Before I start attaching these to the tabs on my base, I'm just going to attach my little tower inside like so. Okay, see how that's assembled? All right, now I'm just going to start attaching this wall like so. One side down, now I'll just attach the other in the same way. Okay, with those two pieces attached, I'm just going to attach the back piece now. Actually, before I do that, I need to add a golden archway and a gate to the back side. Back wall's attached. Now we're going to focus our attention back on the front with this piece. Once again, I need to attach my golden archway and my little gate, and make sure these are all folded in the correct direction that they need to go. Let's see, let me just fold them so I can kind of show you what we're looking at here. Okay, and then this is just going to attach to the front like so, front and center. All right, we are just about finished. The last thing to do is just to put our little round turrets or columns or whatever into these sections. So there's a couple of long tabs here and here, and then a few like little tabs up here. So just add some glue to those and then just slip these guys right in, hold them in place, and you'll be good to go. And now you've successfully made yourself a little piece of Disney Parks magic. Thanks for watching this video and for crafting along with me. This was a pretty intense paper craft, so I commend you for sticking with it the whole way through. Don't forget, I always love to see your finished results, so be sure to share them with me on Instagram, tagging @DesignsByMissM. And special thanks to my wonderful supporters on Patreon, and a warm welcome to my new subscribers, Pam, Angela, Dawn, Susan, Allison H, Angie, Ashley, Kajua, Marcia, Samantha, and Allison B. Thank you so much for your support. If you enjoyed this paper craft, I invite you to consider becoming a supporter. Not only will you help keep the designs coming, but you can also have a chance to help pick new designs in the future and even get awesome exclusive content like postcards and enamel pins in the mail. Thanks again for watching, and happy crafting!